The Hills Have Eyes. So I'm going to say is this the original Hills Have Eyes? Which is directed by Wes Craven. Probably one, that was, because I think the film he did before this one was Last House on the Left, which is a very interesting movie. But The Hills Have Eyes is pretty enjoyable, pretty fun. Again, just this family traveling on vacation. You know, they encounter some trouble on the road, and they're just preyed upon by these, you know, incestuous, malformed, muty hill people, you know? The one line in that movie that sticks out to me to this day is when the cannibals break in. It's the best scene in the movie. It's when the cannibal family, the hill people, they break into the RV and they like kill the mother, and they're harassing this one daughter, and they see her baby or whatever. And there's the one guy's like, oh, baby fat. Juicy, fat, good eating. And it's like, they're going to eat that fucking baby. Great scene. And just a horrifying concept. So Hills Have Eyes, I think, is really entertaining. I'm going to go, this is a nice B for me. That's a nice B right there. Child's Play, again, one of the iconic slasher franchises. You know, that's still going on to this day in some form or another, whether it be in movies or in television shows. But the first Child's Play is great. Brad Dourif does a great job as Charles Lee Ray as Chucky. You know, it kind of helped popularize the idea of the killer doll. Kind of brought that back to the pop culture zeitgeist. It's a concept that we'd seen before, of course, and across film and television. But Child's Play, I think, did it really well. And while the first movie is not my favorite in the franchise, the second one's my favorite. Child's Play 1 is very good. It's a very entertaining movie. And I'll go ahead. I'll put Child's Play. Child's Play's a nice A for me. I'll put that in A. Let's see here. Hills Have Eyes remake was better. I thought it was okay. I liked the remake. I thought was solid. It was good. I do Hills Have Eyes much more than Last House because of when Wes Craven actually knew how to shoot. That helped too. Insidious. So I'm just not the biggest fan of the Insidious franchise. You know. It just feels like, another one of those, like, haunted house films, and you have a demon or a ghost preying on the family, and it's doing weird shit, and, first it starts very subtly, but then later on, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier until you get Darth Maul. It all leads to Darth Maul eventually, chat. I know there's a lot of fans of this franchise. For me, I don't really care. Personally. I'll say this is, I think this is better. Let me see. It's better than Human Centipede. It's better from Dusk Till Dawn. It's better than Cabin Fever. It's better than Tech. It's better than Critters. I'll put it E. E for me. Like the first Insidious is fine until they try to explain the spirit world. Yeah, anytime you try to over-explain a horror movie, you can get in trouble. Oh, here we go. Jaws. Jaws, one of the greatest films of all time. You know, I consider it to be the first modern blockbuster. You know, it created the summer blockbuster. That event, in Star Wars, which released 2 years later in 1977. But yeah, Steven Spielberg's Jaws is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of Steven Spielberg's best films. It's an excellent creature feature. It inspired so many other Jaws knockoffs that we're still getting to this day. Killer shark movies to this day. You have a terrific cast in this film. Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss. I forget the actor who plays the Sheriff Brody in the film. Roy Schneider. Incredible. Like, each part of that movie is great. I love how in the first 2/3 we get a sense of this town, who these people are, and how they're trying to solve this situation of this killer shark, which is disrupting obviously killing people, but also just the town's economy, because this is when when we're making our money, and the mayor wants to keep all the beaches open, right? And Sheriff Brady doesn't want that to happen because he's worried. And I thought that was great. It's kind of almost like a slice of life in a number of moments. The town halls they have, all these great extras coming in. So many, even without the shark. And again, all the stuff they do with the shark, I think is incredibly entertaining. Very scary. That opening, one of the greatest openings to like any film ever, with that girl in the water and she's swimming out there naked, and you don't even see the shark. Of course, infamously, Bruce the Shark, as he was called. You were supposed to see him actually quite often, but because it constantly malfunctioned, they couldn't. But in hindsight, that was the best thing that could have happened to them because the shark is at its scariest when you can't see it. And in that opening, when she's being pulled into the water, she doesn't know what to do. And she's like, help me, Jesus Christ. She's just dragged across the water, trying to hang onto that buoy. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I mean, really the only thing about Jaws that is dated is, yeah, when you do see the shark, it's like, yeah, it looks a little fake. But the commitment of the actors, so many of these wonderful action sequences, but just the fact that this felt like a real place. That's what just really worked for me. You know, it felt like an actual community was being affected by this threat. It was great. Yeah, so Jaws is a S tier for me. Very high S tier. I'm gonna put it right there. Actually, you know what? No, I gotta put it right there. Jaws is very high. I think I like it more than The Fly. But not as much as The Thing and Alien. But very, very high for me. Very high for me. Jeepers Creepers. Oh, boy. No, Jeepers Creepers is just long. Otherwise, fuck that film. Yeah, that's the thing. This is made by a pedophile. That's the thing, chap. You know, I'm not really a big, like, I saw Jeepers Creepers. I think I saw the second one, too. I've never seen any of the other films. The Creeper himself I've always been kind of confused by him. Like, he's like some sort of demon creature, but he's able to like drive a car, and he kind of has an idea of what human life is like. It's very weird. Never really, I guess, you know, they never understood, they never thoroughly explained the Creeper, but maybe that's the point. You don't want to. Like the movie itself, I think is fine, but that director, man, just no, F for Silver Alone, yeah. What a creep. What a creep. But it did give us Justin Long, who I think is good in the movie, but yeah. Joyride. I've never seen Joyride. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to put that in don't know. I've always heard he's supposed to be a Wendigo? Oh, maybe. Okay. I could see that. Yeah. That's true. There's no Boogeyman there. I saw the 2001 High School Super. Yeah, same. That's why. I think that's the one that they're referring to in this tier list. Because I know they released another Boogeyman movie this year or last year, and I was like, bleh. But that one from the 2000s, horrible. He's going to go regeneration powers because people displace him like Ed Gein. Oh, shit, there you go. He's going to go. Ju-on, I don't think I've seen Ju-on. I don't think I've seen that one. That's not the Japanese, like, because you have the Grudge, and then you have the Ring. I don't think I've seen Ju-on, which might be a different one. So Ju-on for me, that's a don't know. That's a don't know. Wrong Turn. I've actually never seen the Wrong Turn movies. I know you guys have Japanese version of The Grudge. Oh, okay. All right, so I have seen this. All right. Because I always thought, like, what was it? Because I've seen The Grudge and I've seen the original, so that's a Japanese Grudge. Okay. All right, Japanese Grudge is pretty solid. I'll give this Ju-on, I'm going to put in C. This is a C for me. I'll put that right there. I think that's pretty reasonable. Original Grudge. Thank you. Then we have Wrong Turn. I've actually never seen the Wrong Turn movies. I know you guys have referenced them before to me, but I've never seen them, so I got to put it right here. Wrong Turn is fun. All the sequels, very. Gotcha. Reanimator. I love Reanimator. It's such a great film. Jeffrey Combs is Dr. Herbert West. It's definitely a horror comedy. It's really fucked up. Really gross. Just a guy that creates this serum that can bring the dead back to life, except they come back wrong. They come back broken. You know, basically come back as zombies to a certain extent. You know, depending how long they've been dead for, the worse they are. Although, you know, even if you do resurrect someone who had just died, there's still something a little wrong with them. But it's an adaptation of a H.P. Lovecraft story as well. But yeah, really, really great movie. Edgy Berserker, Kevin! Good to have you here, Edgy. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you're doing very well, Raiden chat. Please do yourself a favor and check out Edgy Berserker streams. She deserves it. She's amazing. So good to have you here. I hope you're doing very well. Good to see you. We're just doing a ranking of horror movies. I still got a few more to go. But then after that, you're just in time because I'm going to be doing my sexy anime characters Smash or Pass Part 2. Which should be super fun. But for Reanimator, chat, I'm a big fan of Reanimator, so Reanimator is going high A. Witness! There it is, chat. I'm going to put Reanimator... I'm going to put it right here. Put Reanimator right there. Love that first movie. Hell yeah. I was arting and farting. Mostly art. That's good. Very good. Chad, if you ever want to commission Edgy Berserker for some artwork, please go ahead and do so. She's very, very talented. Good to have you here, Edgy. Welcome. We got a lot of good folks here. Yeah, we've hit every single goal tonight, Edgy. It's been amazing. We hit it like in the first 15 minutes. These people have been amazing. And I do hope you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. Hope you're liking this horror list. This horror tier list. It's been fun for me. Let's see here. Creature in the Black Lagoon. Oh, we're getting some classic horror movies and monster movies, Chad, from the 50s. I really like Creature in the Black Lagoon. It's a self-film. It was one of the later. It and its sequels were some of the later Universal monster movies. Of course, you got all the big ones like, Dracula, Invisible Man, and, Frankenstein, like all in the 30s. And then, of course, you got Wolfman, and then in the 40s. Creature in the Black Lagoon, that was the one from the 50s. And I really liked this. I just liked it because it was very different. Because if you think of like all the other the Universal monster movies from all the ones I just named, I like that so much of this one just takes place in such a different environment from those. Like, we're in the Amazon. We're in the jungle, which I think sets it apart. And I like that. Some of the underwater scenes, how they're shot are very good. Like, how they have the actor, like, in the suit and is able to interact with the other actors in full scuba gear. It's very impressive. It's very, very impressive. There's a lot to admire about Creatures from the Black Lagoon. It gets a lot right, in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this pretty high for myself. I'm gonna say this is a really good A. That's a very good A for me. Let's see. Edgy rocks. Hell yeah, she does. I was doing a Choose Your Fighter art stream. I drew Garfield as a cat loathing because Garfield is in a fighting game, Nickel. So that's really good. That's wonderful. There you go, chat. Check her content out for that. That's amazing. Very good. So yeah, I really like Creature Black Man. That's an A for me. I really like the movie. The Ring, which is I forget if it's the original. The Richard Ring, and again another J horror film. Very entertaining. I did enjoy this movie. I'll put this at a C. Right next to, you'll go right next to Ju-on. How about that? There you go. That'll go right there. The Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead was a fucking blast. Directed by Dan O'Bannon, who, of course, was one of the writers on Alien. We did a watch party for this not too long ago. Really liked it. Again, kind of a more comedic spin on the zombie film. Really popularized the idea of zombies consuming brains, right? Some really cool animatronics, practical effects, great makeup work in the movie. Bit of a dark ending, though. But it is a satire, and it wears that on its sleeves. I really like Return of the Living Dead. This is a great film. I'm gonna say this is a high B for me. Very high B. Brains. Hell yeah. Cold Prey, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna put that in don't know. Don't remember. I'm not sure. Basket Case is a very weird film. Not for everyone. It's basically just this weird mutie family. And we mostly focus on two brothers. One brother who seemingly okay, except he has a conjoined twin who is this potato baby, basically. This hungry, murderous potato baby who is attached to him throughout the movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm gonna say this is I'll say this is a D. This is a D for me for Basket Case. It's been a little while. Put it right there. Crowplay is a Norwegian slasher. It's pretty much like Friday the 13th, but for Scandinavia. Oh, even scarier. So the person's like obviously a Viking then, I would guess. There you go. Ginger Dead Man. I have a confession to make, chat. I've never seen Ginger Dead Man. I do owe this for a review. I've seen clips of this movie, but I've not seen its full context, and so I have to put in don't know, don't remember. But eventually I will see it. Carrie, a classic Stephen King adaptation. Probably one of the best adaptations. I just love the story. where you have this poor shy girl who has this very religious but very abusive mother. So she has this horrible familial situation at home, but at school she's horrifically bullied and mocked. But she seems to make these friends. She's asked, by one of those popular guys at school to go to the dance, and it seems like her life is, on the up and up. And it kind of is. Like, that's the tragedy of this movie. Like, there's all these people that actually do care for her, but because of the constant abuse that she goes through, she just, by the end, she doesn't see it that way. And so even though she thinks like all the people in that movie are all laughing or mocking her, they're actually not. But she kills them nonetheless. And it's just so sad and so tragic. Great movie. Yeah, this is for me. This is a very high. This is a very high A. I'm gonna put this right next to The Lost Boys. I can see some people having it as an S rank one, but for me, Carrie's an A. Pumpkinhead. It's been a while since I've seen the original Pumpkinhead. I remember liking the first movie. I like the creature design. I think Lance Henriksen does a good job in it, because this whole thing, like, he's this vengeful father where his son dies, and he calls upon the Pumpkinhead, like this curse, and he becomes the Pumpkinhead, I think, at some point, and starts killing all these people. So I'm gonna watch one day again. Yeah, it's a solid film. I'll put Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead will go in. You'll go right there. You're comfortable in C. Ouija, awful, fucking awful. Now, if it was the prequel sequel Ouija, that'd be different. The first Ouija movie fucking sucks. Hate this film. I'm gonna put this. This is super low. It'll go right there. Hate that movie. Go there. Mega Shark. I've never seen Mega Shark. Gotta put that don't know, don't remember. Bunny Man. I've never seen Bunny Man. Put that in don't know, don't remember. Killjoy. Never seen Killjoy. Don't know, don't remember. Maniac Cop. We did a watch party for Maniac Cop not too long ago, chap. About 2 weeks ago. And it was very fun. You had a lot of, of course, Bruce Campbell. Can't miss that goddamn chin. You had, Robert Zadar as the villain. Can't miss that chin either. All these people trying to track down this cop who's supposed to be dead, but this cop's going around just murdering people. Murdering hobos, murdering other police officers, chat, murdering poor schmucks just walking down the street at night. Maniac Cop was pretty fun. Pretty fun movie. I'm going to put this at, this is a nice C. This is a nice C movie, chat. Right there. Maniac Cop, right next to the Holly. Maniac Cop was the battle of the chins. Yeah, battle of the chins. It really was. Maniac became regular cop. Oh, man. Prom Night. I really like Prom Night. So this is the original Prom Night. This is with Jamie Lee Curtis coming hot off of Halloween. The whole concept of this, for people who don't know, initially it starts out where it's all these like little kids playing this abandoned building, and what often happens when little kids play in abandoned buildings, one of them dies. And they all keep this secret. They don't want to tell anyone, but someone observed this murder happen. They observed it and how it transpired, and they end up as they grow up and they're in high school now. Each one of them is slowly picked off one by one until prom night, where those that are still alive are killed on that night, or at least try to survive. It's a really entertaining movie. I really like the original Prom Night, so I'm gonna go. This is pretty high for me. This is a nice solid B, very solid B. I'm gonna say right here, right next to Creepshow and Tremors. I like that one. Yeah, great disco soundtrack. There's a wonderful dance scene in the movie, dance sequence. It's really great. Highly recommend it. Yeah, I've always wanted to see. Oh, Kaz, you would like it a lot. Now I know they've remade it once or twice, possibly. But the original one is really good. Thundercats, oh, good to have you here, Thundercats. Hope you're doing very well. Just doing a horror tier ranking list is going pretty well so far. We're making some good headway. We only have a few more left. We'll get through all of them. After that, like a big thorough list. Night of the Living Dead, iconic movie. It is, even though, okay, so we've gotten like zombie films before Night of the Living Dead, but those were more like, voodoo zombies, right? This is, in this movie, they don't even call them zombies, they call them ghouls. This is the first introduction of the flesh-eating zombies by George Romero. And, not only did it do that, but it's also like one of the first films, if not the first film, to have a black man in the lead, right? Was very proactive throughout the entire movie. The whole concept of all these people in this isolated farmhouse trying to stave off these ghouls, these creatures, but at the same time dealing with all the. I mean, what's also interesting, other than the zombies, of course, is what's everything that's happening inside the home. All these different personalities bouncing off each other. All these people pissed off at one another. You know, it's great, and that ending. That ending is so impactful and meaningful to this day. And you're right. Yeah, you're right, Deadpool. This movie holds up to this day. It's great. It's really, really good. So Night of the Living Dead, this is an S tier film for me. I'm gonna put this right there in S tier. Great movie. One Missed Call. Is this? I'm trying to think. Is this the original One Missed Call? Let me remember if this is the movie that I just want to see an image from it. Just so I know for myself. One Missed Call. Oh, it's not. I don't know what this is. I've never seen this film. I've never seen it. So I'm going to go F. One Missed Call. I've seen the Japanese one. Is the Japanese one good? I haven't seen either. I'm not the biggest fan of 60s original. I like the 90s version. The 90s version is good. With Tony Todd's character, Ben, he does a great job as well. The 90s version of Night of the Living Dead is good. I've never seen One Missed Call. Fucking Jesus. Paranormal Activity, no thank you. Listen, we got a lot of found footage movies thanks to Blair Witch Project, but throughout the 2000s. And Paranormal Activity is one of the worst ones. I know it made a lot of money. I know that franchise had many sequels, but that first movie is so goddamn boring. Some people really like it, though. It did not work for me. It did not work for me at all. So Paranormal Activity, this is F tier. I'll put this right there. Paranormal Activity. No, thank you. It was a C's get degree sort of movie. You thought it was fine. Fair enough. I like the first Paranormal Activity. The rest of the franchise can leave. I've heard that the Japanese one is decent, but the American one is very hated. The One Missed Call. I like Paranormal Activity in theory, but we have gotten better movies since then. Yeah, believe me, there's other. Actually, I see a number of really cool found footage horror films that are popping up in just a bit. But I just don't like Paranormal Activity. Some Party Massacre. Some of our Party Massacre is fun. Again, derivative of what we've seen before for a lot of slashers. I like the killer's weird drill weapon. That's pretty cool. It's got a lot of goofy characters, a lot of dumb characters that do obnoxious things that results in their deaths, right? Of the Slumber Party Massacre films that I've seen, this is the one that I prefer the most. It's a fun movie. To me, this is a fun C movie. This is a fun C movie. I'm gonna put this. I'll put that right there. Let's see here. Tishiba, how you doing? The first, second Paranormal Activity was good. Chris, you liked them? I'm just not a big fan of them. I just don't really like them. There's some found footage horror I really do like, but good to have you here. How you doing? Yeah, so Party Massacre is a fun movie. Agreed. It's very self-aware since it was made by a woman. That's true. Some Party Massacre, first horror movie directed by a woman. Wow, really? Oh, Poltergeist. All right, chat. So even though I've been a little negative on a number of supernatural horror films that have popped up here, in haunted house movies. There are, of course, been some exceptions. But Poltergeist has always been one of my favorite movies. I think the reason why I like it so much is because, okay, I know it's directed by Tobe Hooper, maybe. Or maybe it's directed by Steven Spielberg, maybe both of them. But it's the thing that I like about it, one, it's a very different environment for a haunted house film. I like that it takes place in the suburbs, of this California, community. I like the family themselves. All of the members of the family I think are interesting and stand out, and they have a cool dynamic. I love that you have like the dad played by Craig T. Nelson, and he's your typical 80s dad. He's your, kind of like 80s conservative, reading like the Ronald Reagan's autobiography, but at the same time, despite Ronald Reagan, the war on drugs, Nancy Reagan, just say no. Him and his wife are like smoking like doobies like all night long, and the kids are all tucked into bed, but at the same time they put all that down when one of the kids is like it just has this Spielberg feel that he had in all of his like I think great genre films during the 70s and the 80s and up into the 90s, and I like that DNA. There's just something about it. It really got me on the side of these characters and what they're going through with these ghosts, with these poltergeists, haunting their home. There is some stuff that, some of the effects sure are a little dated, but I think that's also part of the charm. I really liked it for that. And just some iconic, lines, moments there, here, like all that. I mean, that's how you market the film. You're done. Boom. I really love Poltergeist. And so Poltergeist for me, this is a super, super high A. Yeah, I'm gonna go super high A for Poltergeist. I'm gonna put that right there. Over the Lost Boys even. Yeah. Poltergeist, let's see here. Poltergeist has this sense of wonder and venture to and on top of the horror. Exactly. Yep. So you guys are saying here. Slumber Party Massacre, first horror movie directed by a woman. Edge of the sequel, Slumber Party Massacre, was one of the first watch parties I hung out. It was that was right. We did that. That was super fun. It was great to have you there for. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Yes, yeah. Poltergeist is a great movie. Perfect watch party movie too. That's why it's as high on my list. Definitely I'm gonna give it that nice high A. Yeah. And then part 2, he has a guitar for some reason. I love it. Poltergeist has this sense of wonder and adventure on top of the horror elements. Agreed. One of the theories I've heard that I personally lean towards is that Hooper did direct it, but Spielberg gave him storyboards and told him shoot these. Oh, okay, interesting. I'll go with that. Contact high, best high to get little ones sleep. Knock him out with reefer. There you go. You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies. Oh yeah, great lines. Great lines. Cube's a great movie. Just the whole concept is very interesting. All these people, they don't know seemingly who each other are, and they're stuck in this weird sci-fi environment where they have to go from cube to cube, and they end up getting in some sort of trap. It's really interesting and very, very tense. And the relationships between the characters just changes because of the stress of the environment themselves. But as we learn more about these people, it changes your perceptions of them and their perceptions of each other. And that's that makes it so great. Cube is, anytime it pops up, it's like, oh yeah, Cube is a really, really good movie. I've always liked Cube. Cube's great. I don't really have any complaints about it. I'm going to say Cube is pretty high for me. Cube's a nice A for me. I will put it in, let's see here. I'll put it right there. Yeah, Cube. Oh, Kaz, you should check out Cube. I think you like it a lot. You'd like it a lot. Highly recommend it. Bad Boy Cube's one of my favorite horror movies. I rented the movie so much as a kid. They get to know me at Hollywood Video. That director went on to make Splice. Oh, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Splice. There's people that really do like that movie, though. Subspecies, I don't know what this is. I've never seen this movie. Sounds interesting. The Purge, I like the first Purge. I think the franchise gets better as it goes along, honestly. Like the Frank Grillo ones are pretty good. The most recent Purge was great. The one which focused on the Mexican-American family. I really like that one. Where with the Purge, it's the Forever Purge. I think, was it called the Forever Purge? Where it just engulfs the entire country. But I think the first Purge is solid. I mean, I do love a good home invasion movie. That does get me. I do like that concept. I like seeing it play out again. Ethan Hawke, I think, does a solid job in the film. I think Lena Headey, is she also in the movie? She plays his wife? Yeah, this is a good one. The Frank Grillo ones are good. Frank Grillo. I think I said Frank Grillo, god damn it. But they're just solid. I think but the sequels are better. But so for this one, I'll say this is a solid C. Solid C. Rawr. Probably not a big Purge fan, but I like the first Purge though. The fourth, not the first. Yeah. That's the prequel, right? Prequel sequel. Yeah. Substitute is super fun. There's a riff tracks for part 4. Ooh, it's very cheap gothic horror. They had a real Romanian playing the vampire villain. Oh, interesting. I like the OG Purge. Don't care for the rest. Really? Yeah, I think some of the sequels are better, but fair enough. Psycho. Hopefully it's the original Psycho. Again, this is a lot of people would argue that Peeping Tom is probably the movie that really created the slasher genre. But let's say it's both Peeping Tom and Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Okay. Incredible direction throughout the movie. I love the twist where you initially think you're following the main lead character as, she steals this money and she's on the run and she's trying to, keep a low profile, but she just goes to the wrong place at the wrong time and just ends up dying. And then Anthony Perkins, right? Anthony Perkins, who of course plays Norman Bates, I think does such an excellent job. The reveal of what's actually going on with his mother, the fact that he's been pretending to be his mother this entire time, it's just so creepy. When they find his mother's mummified skeletal remains, it's great. Psycho is an amazing mommy issues the movie indeed. So, and who's the actress who plays a very, very iconic actress as the lead in Psycho? Give her a shout out here, Chad. Give me a second. Janet Leigh, who of course is the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis. So Psycho's an S tier. S tier for me. I'm gonna put this. I'll put that right next to Night of the Living Dead and Blade. Like that one a lot. Chris Harris, thank you so much. Something for the 10 minutes. Something I learned recently. This dude from the second movie that's basically become the face of the franchise is Lakeith Stanfield for The Purge. Oh, this guy. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I can see that. There you go. All right, chat. Moving on. Puppet Master. I don't like the first Puppet Master. I think the movie's very, very boring. There's a lot. This franchise has been going on for fucking decades now. I think they're on their 16th, 17th, 18th entry. They're in the teens now. But yeah, that first film, I don't remember anything about it. I just remember being bored. I remember watching this film at a young age and being like, what the fuck? What's anything going to happen? We rented this movie for just from Blockbuster on VHS and be like, ugh, did not care for Puppet Master. So Puppet Master, I'm sorry, Chad. That's gonna be a low one for me. That's an F. A sequel to Psycho. Sequel to Psycho is interesting. When Norman Bates is released, it's like how many years later? It's like 20 or 30 years later. He comes out and he's just trying to put his fucking life together. And but there's just these things that are just pushing him to become, the psycho killer that he once was. Yeah. The Psycho 2 is underrated. I agree. I think the second one, if it's the one I'm thinking of, was fun. No, you're right, Edgy. I like the second Psycho. Let's go on. He's like, shut your mouth. No. Puppet Master is okay. Is this a Donald Sutherland one? I have no idea. When I came back from Activity, 1 is on F tier, 100%. That's wild, but I can't blame you because there were some people who just were not a fan. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of Puppet Master either. It's an odd franchise. It keeps going. I've seen a number of riff tracks. Very funny, though. Very, very funny riff tracks. Wreck. Wreck is one of the greatest found footage horror films of all time. Obviously, there's been sequels to it. There's been American remakes, Quarantine, but the original Wreck is great. I think it takes place in Spain. You're just following this kind of, would-be reporter. She's trying to be like a big reporter. Has to host this very, very late show. Ends up basically interviewing all these firefighters. Oh, there's an emergency. They got to go. They go to a building, and there's a zombie infection spreading. And they're trapped inside there. And it just gets worse and worse and worse in the best way possible. It's great. I have no complaints about this movie. I've done a review for it, probably like a year or two ago. I view a commentary. Wonderful found footage film. It's just a great zombie movie too. So Wreck is very high on my list. I think this movie is great. I'm going to put Wreck. I'll put Wreck right here. Wreck's pretty high, A for me. Let's see. I saw one of the Puppet Master sequel prequels. Super weird. Yeah, there's a ton of them. There are so many of them. There's the one I'm most familiar with, which Ref Tracks did. It initially takes place in World War II, and I guess you're following the Puppet Master as he's telling the origin story of this puppet, but it's more about just his what led him to become the Puppet Master and learning about magic and shit. And takes place, I want to say, in the late 1800s. There's that one. Very entertaining with the riff tracks. There's Puppet Master film. It's Puppet Master versus the demonic toy starring Corey Feldman. I think we got to watch it just for that. Holy shit. Wreck, the movie that gave us the human pretzel himself. Javi, but that's true. That ending, the ending to Wreck is horrifying. It's so creepy. I love it. I think so when you're thinking of, yeah. That one's a vote of the riff tracks, Kaz. I like that one. Saw. So, the first Saw, I think, is a really solid movie. Some of the sequels, Saw 2 is not great at all. Saw 3 is pretty good. And then all the other entries, I think, range from being okay to bad. Most recent Saw X is great. That might be my favorite Saw film. I was so surprised how good. In the same way that I was surprised about the first Omen being as great as it is, same thing for Saw X. That's what the first Omen is. The Saw X of this year. But the original Saw is a solid movie. I like it. It's one of, I think, James Wan's best films. It birthed a very huge, successful franchise. So I think I'll put Saw fairly high. I'll put Saw's a nice B for me. Nice B. Solid B. Speaking of Redacted, The Violent Nature is apparently available on digital right now. Oh, is it? Cool. I can finally do a review for that now. I know I've mean to for quite some time. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Saw films. I saw Saw 6 for the whole fuck the USA LLC. Yeah, there's that one. I like that one. That one's fun. I do like that one. No, the Saw films that I enjoy, I like the first one. I hated 2. 3 is good. 3 is pretty goddamn good. So Saw 1, 3, and the most recent, and I like 6 with the healthcare critique. And the most recent one were pretty goddamn good. Yeah. Yeah, 2 is rough. 2 is really rough. I hate those. Those characters are just so dumb. So stupid. You didn't like Saw 2 at all? I did not. I just hated those people. I was just like, you know what? I hope you all die. And most of them did. Although the first Saw was the first movie that had me shook when I came out of the theater that night. The sequels are just gory cotton candy for me, though. I love the first Saw film. I don't remember the other ones. There's some good ones. The most recent one is really good. I just read that. Costas Mandylor getting made the new... Wait, what? Costas Mandylor getting made the new lead ruined. Oh, the guy. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, him. Gotcha. Yeah, the new Jigsaw. Well, that's why I don't think they're ever gonna like do that. They're gonna keep doing, at least for right now, they're gonna keep doing these prequels. Because isn't Saw 11 supposed to come out this year, or is that next year? Because they filmed it. They've been filming it, and I think they should just make it a prequel sequel. I mean, a bit of a spoiler. You know, I like that. Actually, I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it because it's still too news. All I'll say is I like what they do with Jigsaw. They do something a little different with him that made it more interesting for me as a viewer. And for someone who wasn't the biggest Saw fan, like overall fan of the franchise. But first film's good. Scream. Listen, Scream is one of my favorite films of all time. It's probably my, not top 10, but probably my top 20. It's my favorite Wes Craven movie of all time. It is a wonderful, deconstructive horror comedy. It also helped horror. It certainly saved the slasher subgenre at a time where it was pretty much dead, extinct. And what Kevin Williamson and what Wes Craven did was breathe new life into it, to present these horror scenarios to people and to deconstruct them in real time through various scenes, various characters, especially Jamie Kennedy's character of Randy Meeks. What are the rules? You don't have sex, you don't do drugs, and whatever you do, never say you'll be right back. It's just no one ever done that before. And the Scream franchise, I think for the most part, has been pretty consistent. I love Scream 2. Scream 3, I think, is the weakest. I really love Scream 4, having seen it not too long ago. I was very impressed by that movie. I like Scream 5. It's flawed. I like Scream 6 a lot more, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with 7. But Scream, just by itself, is perfect to me. It's also really fucking funny. It's really funny. I love Matthew Lillard and who of course plays Stu, and Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis. They're some of my favorite. They're my favorite ghost faces. They're some of my favorite slashers. I love it. That last third, which is 40 minutes. The last third of the movie, which is the majority of the movie, is that last third. Everything at Stu's house is great. And that final entire sequence. Witness me! Scott the Gamer, thank you so much for the raid. Very, very kind raid. What were you doing, Scott? Were you playing more of that Skyrim? Hope you were really enjoying yourself. Good to see you here. Welcome. I'm just doing a horror movie film rank. It's been super fun so far. But Scream for me, yeah, as I was saying, it's just that whole sequence at the end, the whole last third, where they're just stabbing each other, penetrating each other. I think it stuck me too deep, man. I'm feeling a little woozy over the whole getting hit with the phone. Hit with the phone, you dick, which is improvised. It's just great. I love Scream. So Scream is an S tier for me, Chad. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. I think I gotta put it up there. I gotta put it high on that list. It's very good. Best third act ever. Well, yeah, what's your excuse? Stu? Peer pressure. Oh, good to have you, Scott. Thank you. You need a beer? I'll be right back. Oh, so good. We gotta do a Scream watch party sometime. Iconic. Yeah, Scream's S tier for me. Scream's really good. I don't have strong feelings for most of the movies after. Fair enough. That's fair. People Under the Stairs is wonderful. I love People Under the Stairs. Hope it's on this list. Scream, it's such a well-acted, well-written, smart comedy horror thriller. I love that film, and so did Hollywood. So we got so many other studios trying to do their own Scream. That's what happened. Yeah. Love Scream. Sharknado. The first Sharknado is fine. It's okay. It has its moments, but it's nothing spectacular in my opinion. Had 6 or 7 entries, so it does have its fans. So for me, it's kind of like in that E tier. I'll put Sharknado there, I guess. Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs might be also like one of my favorite films of all time. It's certainly one of my favorite horror films. An excellent, thorough, wonderful adaptation of the original novel. Both the characters of Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter are amazing. They're just been in the pop culture zeitgeist for decades at this point. We've seen different, obviously, interpretations of them over the years, but in that movie, it was amazing what Anthony Hopkins, did. And with only 19 minutes of screen time, winning Best Actor, of course, but then also, the actress who plays Clarice Starling in the movie, again, is great. And I think she also got an Academy Award for the film as well. Just wonderful. Yeah, Jodie Foster. Thank you, Jodie Foster. Yeah, Buffalo Bill too. The character of Buffalo Bill, played by Ted Levine. His performance. He's kind of like the scariest character in that movie. Was she a big old fat person? Like all that. Just getting these women and skinning them, trying to create like a women's. Just like whoa. And there's all that. That whole scene, that whole dance scene where he tucks his goddamn dick and balls. He's like, da-da, 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 da-da. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know his weird voice. His weird voice made him really off-putting. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. It's just like, God, it's horrifying. Silence of the Lambs is an S tier for me. It's great. Got it. Goodbye Horses. That's right. Yeah. It's like he has a permanent reverb. Yeah, I love Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is pretty high in my list. I'm going to put that right there. I love that film. Great movie. All right, we got a few more left, Chad. Not too many. Then we're going to move on to Anime Smash or Passing. Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp is a dumb movie. It's a dumb movie. It's most of the time it's funny or really unintentionally funny or awkward. That mother in the movie, I don't know what the fuck her deal was. I don't know if it was the actress. I don't know if that's how she chose to play the character. I'm not sure. Very, very weird. But, it's very much like it's another Halloween knockoff or Friday the 13th knockoff, whatever you want to consider or call it. And it's definitely a fun watch. There are some great lines. There's this one line where you follow this one kid who's the brother to, the person you find out who is the killer. And there's like a lot of shit talking in the movie. And at one point they're like playing baseball or softball. And this one kid, I think it's the pitcher or something, he says to him as he's about to throw the ball, he's like, eat shit and die, man. And then our one, the brother, he says, eat shit and live. And I'm like, holy shit. There was something about that. There was just something about, I was like, I like that kid. I like that a lot. It's, eat shit and live. I was like, Jesus. You know what? Even worse. It's even worse. Sleepaway Camp, it's fun. And it has that ending. Where it's like, what? It's a boy. She's a boy, right? And there's that whole line. So Sleepaway Camp, not a great movie. Unintentionally funny a lot of times. But there is a lot of entertainment value in there. So I'm going to put it, I'll put it right next to Friday the 13th. I think that's reasonable. Eat shit and live. What's your theory, Edgy? Sleepaway Camp, I still think of it as the greatest horror film, and it holds a very special place in my heart for that reason. My fave line, hold on, guys. I need to go take a wicked shit. See that it has these moments where it's like, oh, that's cool. Also, the one creepy pedophile cook, when he gets all that boiling water, that giant industrial pot poured on him, freaked me out as a kid. I was like, holy shit, what a way to go. What a way to go. But yeah, I feel pretty confident putting it right there. A B for you, Katria. Guys, I like Sleepaway Camp more than I thought I would. It's a fun watch. It's a very fun. Listen, just because I'm putting it at D doesn't mean like these are bad. It's like some of these movies, like, they can be a D, but they're still pretty fun to watch. Yeah, it's on Tubi. It's a good Tubi movie. Let's see, what's your theory? The aunt's husband was the gay lover, and she lost. Oh, I can see that makes sense. That makes sense why she's so weird. Yeah, okay. That's a good theory, Edge. I like that. Sleepaway Camp is getting no fucks about it. No, they kill a lot of kids. They kill the fuck out of those kids. I was glad. I was incredibly unhappy whenever the cook was on screen. Yeah. No, he deserved it. Surprised they love trans people empathize with Angela, because for a while I was like, is this problematic? Yeah, I guess that's the weird thing. I wonder if that, like, how the trans community views that moment, that scene. You know. But still, it's an iconic ending. It's often referenced. People go like, you ever seen that ending? So, speaking of iconic movies, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper's magnum opus, is one of his greatest films, next to Poltergeist, if you want to count that. What I like most about this movie is its environment. There's just something, again, living in Texas. And even though despite what some of the sequels say, like, oh, this shit happened right outside of Austin, Texas, it's like, I don't think that's true. But if you do go out to the boonies, you will find areas that look like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You'll find a house that has this huge yard, this huge property, like all these abandoned cars and shit. And it's just like, do they just own those cars, or all those the victims? It just has. It's hot. It's sticky. There's just random shit. It's like when you're a kid and you go in the woods and you find, like, these weird structures, like, who built these? He nailed the feel. And then you just go into that house of horrors and just but the fact that it's all, like, well lit. I mean, there is nighttime sequences in the film, and those are shot well. But I'm very surprised in how effective the movie still is and how scary it can be, despite being mostly taking place in the daytime or the late afternoon. The use of bright light makes this movie, I think, stand out. And of course, yes, it gave us the Sawyer family. It gave us Leatherface, who's an iconic slasher, of course, and it birthed the film franchise. A franchise I'm not in love with. There are some, I like the first remake. The first remake was pretty good. And the second film, I think, is fun, even though it's nothing like the original one in terms of tone. But the first one is a great movie, and one I have a lot of affection towards. So, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very, very high for me. I think this is, ooh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I will put this, I'm going to put this in a, oh, man, high A tier. I'll put it in high A tier. Let's see here. Bishop, the original text is easy. Yes, the use of sound in this kills it. Pun intended. Hammer to that's a great scene when Leatherface opens that metallic shutter door and it's you're right, the sound effect, how he's just bludgeoning that guy and you see like his limbs are still moving, because he's twitching in the nerves, and then he drags him in there and he go boom and the shutter just yeah, great, you're right. Okay, I'll give it. Oh, god damn it! Now I don't know. The thing is, if I put like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in S, then I feel like I got to put Poltergeist in S. I'm going to keep it there for right now. It's very high praise. Very high praise. I remember being told in junior high by other kids that this movie is based on a true story. I knew, right. Well, it's based on a true story. It's one of those. In a small town nearby. Yeah. I love that movie. I also like the sequel that has Bill Moseley as Chop Top and has one of the best remakes. I do like the remake quite a bit. But the other movies are bad. The most recent one was fucking awful. Oh, it was terrible. The OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of those movies that gets more scary if you watch it in VHS. Because, how grainy it is. It adds to it. Agreed. I'll go with very high A. We'll go very high A, but S, I can understand. It's almost there. Chad. Yeah. Yeah, I know that now. Isn't it funny that Urban Legends means... Yeah, exactly. Good point. All right, we got some other ones. Blair Witch Project. All right, listen. This movie is... incredibly influential. The marketing campaign for the Blair Witch Project is brilliant, and it can never be replicated. It can never be replicated. People thought it was real. You know, this was still the early days of the internet, and they used that technology to a degree to market this movie, and because people couldn't look into things or fact check, you know, for this film and all. Some people thought it was real, and it helped it, and it made it more infamous and iconic. And it helped popularize the found footage subgenre. It did all those things. It was a huge commercial success. It reviewed pretty well from what I remember. It's just, I feel like there are so many other better found footage horror movies out there. I just also think that there's a lot of parts of this movie where it's just kind of boring, or these characters aren't really that likable or very interesting to follow. I mean, you have such amazing moments as, where's the map? I kicked the map into the river. No, you fucking didn't. Where's the goddamn map? And so I'm the guy that thinks Blair Witch, the third film in the franchise, is the best one. You know, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on that one, but I like that film. If I'm just going by taking out everything that this movie did in a great way, right? Just looking at it by itself, I just don't like this film. So yeah, for me, this is I don't know. It's not quite an F. I'll go with I'll go there. The Blair Witch Project. No, thank you. I'm so sorry, but I don't like this movie. I appreciate what it did at the time, but it's boring to watch. Now it's mine. Yeah, it really is. Convicts hate Blair Witch. Even my scary cat sister got mad at this movie, which is an F for me, to be honest. I just didn't like. Yeah, no, I understand it. For some reason, I vibe with Blair Witch. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. Believe me, I get it. There's such a thing as a good Blair Witch movie. I like the third one. I really do. I said Blair Witch was fine, but like Paranormal Activity, there's just been better movies since then. Agreed. Predator, which, you know, it has horror elements. Sci-fi, I would say it's more sci-fi action, but it is a bit of a horror film. I mean, it's a great movie. This is like one of the, I kind of associate more action with this film, but it is one of the iconic movies of the 1980s. You have a fantastic cast, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura and Bill Duke, and I mean so many recognizable faces. It created one of the most iconic movie monsters that is going on, you know, to this day. Recently, the franchise being resuscitated thanks to Prey, but that original movie, there's a reason why people say that's the best Predator film. I just love the idea. It's all these buff, commando, sweaty guys going in the jungle, you know, blasting all these insurgents or you know, commies, dirty commies, you know, and then they just happen to encounter an alien that wants to hunt all of them, you know, from outer space. It's great. It's to the point. It's brutal. Iconic lines, you know, Dylan, you son of a bitch, like all that stuff. Go get to the chopper. Like every time Arnold Schwarzenegger speaks, stick around. It's like some of his greatest catchphrases are in this movie alone. It's one of my favorite action movies. It's so goddamn good. But that's what people say, action, not horror. But I'll give it exactly. We're gonna give it a pass because it does have a monster, and the Predator is an iconic monster. Really good. Sexual Tyrannosaurus. Great line. But you're right. You guys are right. It's fun, but it's more of an action film. You are correct. I mean, personally, I think Predator is an S-tier film. Just for myself. Like, I think it's an S-tier movie. I think it's really goddamn good. I gotta put it high up there, chat. I really do. I really do fucking love Predator. I mean, compared to the rest of these movies, it's hard. We'll put an S-tier. It's S for me. The Woman in Black. I have not seen the original one. I saw the remake of Daniel Radcliffe, and I thought it was whatever. It was one of those just, you know, run-of-the-mill, supernatural, haunted house movies. Like, it starts off like it's a period piece. I like that it was a period piece. But it's just, you know, him, you know, going to this mansion, and I forget what it, like, he's like going there with his son or something, and he's just trying to set up for these people, and he just starts getting haunted, you know. I mean, you've seen it before 1,000 times. It's not a very remarkable movie, in my opinion. I didn't hate it, but it was just nothing about it that stood out perfectly honest. So, I don't know. I'll put it in an E, I guess. I don't know. I guess, I'll put it there. I'll put it there. He should have called Ye Old Ghost, but he should have done that. Yes. Yeah, When Black was okay. Reese Tony Award winner. Yeah, he's a talented actor. It just wasn't. The movie wasn't doing him any favors. This is very generic. Yeah. Someone who likes ghost movies, I thought it was fine. It had some decent scares for Katria. Should have called Ye Old Ghostbusters. Should have. Yeah. You don't like spooky ghost movies anyway. It's true, I don't. Troll. So this is not Troll 2. This is the original Troll. It's a very bad movie. Has some kind of crazy weird moments. A lot of people like turning into abominations in this film. And there's a reason why when people say Troll, they don't think of this movie. They think of the sequel. Because Troll 2, I mean, it's called the best worst movie. It's so bad that it's good. And it is. It's very entertaining. Original Troll, not so much. It's kind of dull, to be perfectly honest. So, I don't know, maybe we'll do it for a watch party one day since it's been so long. But yeah, I'll say this is like an F tier for me. The highest of the F tiers. Oh my God. Hell yeah. Urban Legend, one of the many knockoff Scream movies that were coming out. I think when it comes to Urban Legend, the one that I remember most is the sequel. I remember absolutely fucking nothing. I've seen this movie. I couldn't tell you what the hell happened in it. It's been that long. So I don't know. I'll put this in F2 because I couldn't tell you what happened in it. I'll go right there. We'll go right there. Doesn't Julia Louis-Dreyfus play a sexy witch in Troll? Maybe. I wouldn't be shocked. I like original for all the parts they don't have Tara Reid. It's just been so long since I've seen it. I think I've seen the sequel more. Any case. Underworld. I think, again, Underworld came out when The Matrix just exploded. And you had, ever since, you had 1999, then up to, 2006, 2007, every action film was just trying to be The Matrix, and Underworld was one of those franchises. There's a lot of people that like these movies. They're fine. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great either. It's just so kind of all right, it's fine. It's kind of right there next to things like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Final Destination for me. It's also an action movie too, but it has werewolves, has vampires, and everything in between. I don't know. Not but a D. It's a D for me. Yeah, action movie. Equals, what if The Matrix had werewolves? Exactly. And when it goes in the same pile of Resident Evil. Yeah, exactly. I can see that. Yeah, it's all in that. I think it's fine in D. Underworld's a D. Hatchet, not the book. I have not seen. Have I seen? No, I've not. I've never seen Hatchet. I've never seen it. I know of it. I've seen clips from this film, but I've never seen it in its full context. The Hatchets are fun. I think those would be good for some watch parties. I just remember one of the sex scenes in our World sequels. He's penetrating her belly button. I told myself, oh, really? Oh, my God. That's where the women like it. Oh, God. There you go. Hatchets are fun. They make for good watch. Read the gore alone is worth it. Cool. It. So I'm going to say this is the It Part 1. It that came out in 2017. Still, technically still a hole. It's still a hole. That's true. I really like It Part 1. I thought it was great. Again, what Andy Muschietti I thought did with that movie was really, really cool. I liked the kid cast. You had a lot of great actors. They all wonderful chemistry. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, I think, did such a great job. It's a really entertaining movie. I like this film quite a bit. I'm gonna put this. This is a nice A for me. This is a pretty good A. I'm gonna say it goes. I'll say it goes right there. It's pretty high. Pretty high. Not my favorite Stephen King adaptation, but pretty high. Underworld had an interesting concept, but just never really took advantage at what good idea they did have. And Werewolves were a million times more interesting than the vampires who made the main characters. Sequel for it, that time-traveling Mortal Kombat arcade cab, took me right... Oh, I know. The sequel, yeah, It Part 2, which if we're just going to go by, It Part 1, which maybe, I don't know, maybe I should factor in 2. It Part 2 is, it's not bad, but it's just not nearly as good as the first film. It's just when they're adults, it's just not as interesting. When they're kids, I think it's more tense, it's more exciting, it's more scary, because the fact they're kids and they're going up against this weird interdimensional cosmic, horror, which is Pennywise, which is it. Whereas they're adults, it's just not as impactful. Now I'm going to have to kill this fucking clown. Yeah. Leprechaun is dumb. Leprechaun is pure dumb fun. All the entries in this franchise, for the most part, are pure dumb fun. From Leprechaun 1 to the time when he goes to Vegas, when he goes to space, when he goes to the hood twice. It's dumb. So I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this at low D. Low D. Because there is some entertainment value in there. VHS, I've never seen the VHS movies. I've never seen them. Or no, I've seen the first one. No, that's not true. I have seen the first one. I barely remember anything about it. Another anthology film. I thought this was okay. I'll put this as an E. I was like, wait, which ones have I seen? I have seen that one. Leprechaun felt like a Disney kids movie that was like, what if we added swearing and violence? It kind of does feel like that. It's just kind of hard to take him seriously. You know, I was like, oh, come on, we can knock him over. Just avoid any Leprechaun movies that don't have Warwick Davis in it, right? There's a couple. Bad Boy Leprechaun is fun. Warwick Davis made those movies. He's fun. He commits. The rhyming and everything. The VHS 1 and 2 were great. Viral was shit. I think like the first one. I remember like thinking like, oh, okay. It's been a long time since I watched it, so I'll put it right there.